What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Shani, and welcome back to the Woman's Palace. And today I just want to talk about God being the how. And this is also for me because sometimes we sit here and we pray to God and we be like, okay, God, we want this, and we believe him for it, but we don't know the how. I don't see how. I don't know how. God is the how. And that's what God put on my spirit, that it's not your job to worry about how it's going to come into play. It's not your job to worry about how I'm going to do it. Do I need to resource? See, you got to put all your trust in God. Your job is to have the faith. Your job is to become, which is to work on becoming what you are praying for. It's not your job to sit there and worry about, oh, how am I going to do it? See, no. What God had to make me realize with, okay, you say, for example, I'm praying for a house, I'm praying for a car, all this type of things. Okay, have faith that God can give you a house. Have faith that God can give you a car, and pay it off too. Paid off, okay? And don't worry about, well, how am I going to get the money? How? No. Your job, don't worry about the how. That's God's job. Your job is to have the faith. I believe, God, that you're going to give me this house. I believe, God, that you are going to give me this car and it's going to be paid off, right? Okay. Now, your job, one thing I have to realize, guys, that we are not waiting on the blessing. The blessing is waiting on us. See, while you're in the wait, you have to become. You saying you want a house, but are you fixing your credit? Are you paying off your debt? You say you want a car, work on your credit. See, you got to be able to get in alignment with what you are asking for. And that's what God is working on with me. And this is where I'm going to say, God, we not waiting on God. God waiting on us. Because you sit here and you pray and you, I don't see how, and you are trying to do the how. You are trying to go work yourself to death, and you are trying to go sit here and look for cars. And that's not to say not look for cars, but it's to get the point. You don't need to be worrying about the how. You need to worry about putting your faith in God, putting all your trust in God. I don't see how, but I know you are the God of impossible. I know that you can make I know you can make anything. You know, this is one thing I'm learning about the five senses in this world. It's not about how it looks, because God is God, and he can do any and everything. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It takes one moment. I heard Shantia say this. It takes one moment. It takes one move. It takes one phone call to change your whole life around. But see, you don't need to worry about the how. You don't need to stress yourself trying to network with people. I need to be their friend so they can put me in where no. God is your source. You don't have to network when you have God. You don't have to do things that other people do because you have God. But you got to put your trust in God, and you just got to get in alignment in whatever it is you asking for. And that goes back to the house. You want a house, but are you putting yourself in alignment with the house? Are you getting your credit right? Are you paying off debt? Are you taking care of what God gave you? One thing I had to realize with God, when we ask for things, God watches us. And that's not to say that God doesn't watch us all the time, but he has a closer eye on us because he's seeing how we are managing things. And this is where I'm in the season of God managing. How are you managing the house that you are in now? How are you managing the thing that you are renting? How are you managing that apartment? See, I have to realize with God is like, if you can't take care of the little, why would he give you more? If you can't take care of your own, and this goes for work, you claiming if you want asking God to give you a business, are you taking care of somebody else's business? Are you clocking in on time? Are you being reliable? Are you being of integrity? One thing I have to realize, you can't sow something and not expect to reap it. So if you sit here and you say you want a business, but you up here, doing time clock fraud, or you doing half step, and everything you do, you should be doing unto God. So you need to put your best foot forward, even if it's not what you want to do, even if it's not yours. If you can't take care of somebody else's, what makes you think you can take care of yours? And that's what I'm learning. God is in this season of managing. Okay, I'm asking for stuff, but are you putting yourself in alignment of what you asking for? Are you taking care of somebody else's home while you're living in it? Or are you gonna tear it down, and then when you get your home, expect to keep it up? with the business? Are you taking care of somebody else's business? How would you feel if somebody, like, put yourself in somebody else's shoes? If you had your business, how would you feel if you were their employee and you were doing what they were doing? See, you got to be able to hold yourself to a standard. This is where God is watching you. You praying for something, but how I'm gonna bless you. One thing I have to realize with God, when God bless you, he wants it eternal. He wants your kids to be able to eat off your blessing. But see, God is not going to give you something if you are not ready for it. So which means I'm not finna give you no home when you can't even take care of the home that you have. I'm not finna give you no car when you can't even take care of the car you have. I'm not finna give you no business if you can't even manage the business that you are at. This is all about getting in alignment. And this is not to worry about the how. A lot of people spend their time worrying about the how, not realizing they need to focus on putting all their trust in God and becoming what God is asking, what you are praying for. Don't worry about the how. God is the how. Put all your trust and faith in God to know that he is the God of the universe. He can do all things. It's nothing too hard for God. But see, God is working on you. And that's what I'm realizing in this season. God, the blessing is not the problem. You are the problem. You are the problem. Become the person that you are praying to be. Whatever it is that you are asking for, get yourself in alignment with that. Don't worry about how is it going to happen. I don't have no money. See, money is a resource. You don't need to be worried about the resource when you are connected to the source. Okay? And that's what I'm learning within myself. All these resources, that's why I said networking and all that stuff. You are connected to the source. You ain't got to worry about all that. God can use his resource to give you what you need, but God is working on you. I'm realizing now God cares more about us than anything we can ever ask for. It's all about really us and molding us and getting us to a higher version of ourselves, revealing to us things that we don't even know that we are capable of. He wants to bring forth the most highest version of you. He wants to reveal to you the person that he has destined you to be. And I had to realize that sometimes when God reveals the little things of what he created you for, you be like, I can't do that. And God is like, that's what you are made for. How can you say you are not, you can't do that? That's what the reason why you got breath in your lungs. But see, you got to be able to get to a point and stop worrying about a how. Because we live in a world that everything is how. And I'm going to say I've been there. How, God? How that gonna work? You didn't told me this and you don't see it. But see, like I said, I'm realizing God ain't worried about what you see. That's why he said you walk by faith and not by sight. You don't walk by what you can see, because I am the I am, and I can do any and all things. It's not about what you see. It's about how do you trust that I can do that for you? Do you trust that? And if you trust that, are you getting yourself in alignment with that? So with all that being said, I want you to get in your mind that God is the how. I don't have to worry about how. I just need to put my trust in God to know God can do it for me. I don't care what I see. I don't care what it looks like. I'm going to trust that God can do it with everything falling apart. But guess what? While I'm waiting, I'm going to put myself in alignment with it, with the blessing. So I want you guys to go out and be a light in this dark world. And I want you guys to continue to strive to be the highest version of yourself.